Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, good evening. On behalf of my wife, Tamar, and our co-chairs, Esther and Jonathan Liederman, I'd like to welcome everyone to Yoke's 41st annual dinner, honoring Ilana and Hillel Abramson as our guests of honor, and Gila and Alan Goldberg as our Young Leadership Awardees. I was told before I got up here, this is financially the most successful dinner we've had. So really, thank you very much for being here. Before we begin the program, I'd like to call up Jonathan Liederman, who's going to recite a Kapitel Tehillim.
Shir lamalos, esa einai el hehariyim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai yosei shamayim va'aretz. Ayitein lamot raglecha ayanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha, al yad yaminecha. Yom ha-shemesh lo yakeka, v'areyach ba lo yala. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra, yishmor es nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeischa voecha, me'ata v'ad olam.
Very good. You want Musaf next week? Please remain standing. As I'd like to call him, I get a little exercise. I'd like to call upon Stu Mayer to sing Hatikva, followed by Bruce Mail to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Kolod balevav pinima Nefesh Yehudi Homiya Ufatei Mizrach Kadima Ayin Letzion Sophia Od lo avda tikvateinu ha-tikva bat shnot alpayim liotam chovshi be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liotam Chovshi be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. You're up. I'm up.
Hodul Hashem, Kitov, Kililam Chasto. It is appropriate that on this beautiful night, we thank God for all that He has done for us over the last year, including the zechut of being able to call young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst our shul. In the last few parshiot of the Torah, we have been reading about the building of the Mishkan and the role of Bnei Yisrael in building it. The question has always been, why does the Torah go through every excruciating detail of building the Mishkan? After all, it was just a temporary structure. Several years ago, I heard a speech by Rabbi Yisrael Kamenetsky that discussed Rabbi Lord Sachs' interesting perspective on this, one especially appropriate for tonight. Rabbi Sachs pointed out that when a new child is born, the child cannot do much on its own. It initially needs constant nurturing and guidance in all respects of its life. Rabbi Sachs contends Bnei Yisrael was very much like a newborn. God did everything for us, from splitting the Red Sea, providing water, food, protection, giving of the Torah. And what did Bnei Yisrael do every time God graciously gave more and more, constantly solving our problems? They complained every step of the way. Rabbi Sachs goes on to say that after Cheder Egel, God changed tactics. Rather than spoon-feed Bnei Yisrael, He wanted us to stop being passive, to get involved, to give up our talents and our money in the building of the Mishkan. Moshe made an appeal for a tremendous amount of gold and other materials to build the Mishkan, and no one complained. Probably the first and last time in recorded history when no one complained about the building fund. Of course, another first was Moshe cut off the appeal and told Bnei Yisrael to stop donating gold and materials. Don't worry, that will not happen at this shul. Rabbi Sachs speculates that complaining stopped because by becoming involved, by making the Mishkan their own, they became invested in the mission. They were the ones investing blood, sweat, tears, money into creating what would become the centerpiece of Jewish life and an integral part of them. He continues that all the complaining stopped because it's not about what God does for us that transforms or changes us, it's what we do for God. I am constantly humbled when I consider how many people in our shul epitomize this insight, who give of themselves, their talents, their resources to create our own Mishkan Miyat, one that is ours and which we can be proud of. Our honorees this evening, the Abramsons and the Goldbergs, are perfect examples of people who give of themselves to benefit the shul and the broader Jewish community. You will hear more about them later. I would like to personally thank the following people for everything they do for our shul: Rabbi Trump, Rabbi Teitelbaum, the Gabayim, the office, Marvin, Yehudis, Razy, and Jill, Rabbi Kramer, Leanne Taylor, Rabbi Kleinman, and the maintenance staff with Jorge and the team, and our security team. And we are lucky to tonight to have Chris and Bobby and their wonderful wives with us tonight. And those people who run and participate in our various learning programs, those of you who participate in laning and davening from the Amud, Chevre Kadisha, the Sisterhood, the Youth Department, and the board members, and of course, all my wonderful advisors, including my kitchen cabinet. Finally, I would like to thank those responsible for this beautiful evening. Apart from the dinner being one of our most important fundraisers of the year, it provides us all an opportunity to come together in one place as a shul. Thanks go out to our awesome dinner committee, especially the dinner chairs, Jonathan and Esther Liederman, and Tamar and Robbie Sharf. And the Scroll of Honor chairs, Terry and Andrew Herenstein. I would like to thank the wonderful vendors, including Genadine Caterers, Gary Wallen, Naomi Cohen, Jerry Myers Photography, Eric Herman, Lisa Braun Jewelry, Kaufman Brothers Printing, Print on Point, Jerusalem Flowers, Calligraphy by Rochelle, Spruce Divine, and 32 Degrees. And of course, thank you to the honorees for allowing us to honor you. Welcome to your family and friends. At this point, I would like to call up Yael Gurich, too, on behalf of the sisterhood. Okay. First of all, tonight we were going to thank the sisterhood for their check for the crucial funds for the to help our youth department. Thank you. The sisterhood is there for us at all times. I want to thank you very much and for all the work you do. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce my dear friend and our beloved Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Moshe Teitelbaum, on a video.
It's one of the most interesting psukim in the Torah. B'chol hamakom asher azkir es shemi, avo elecha uverachticha. Hamakom means the place. B'chol hamakom means anywhere, everywhere. Either it's the place or it's everywhere. Seemingly, these two words contradict one right after the other. The meaning, of course, is that if God is in the place, it's a makom kadosh. God can be in many, many places. Where do you let him in, the Kutzke says? That's where he is. What we've excelled in doing in our shul is we've let him in. We've let him in to come with us on our journeys intellectually, spiritually, and socially. We've let him in as we've joined together to become a family. We've let him in as we've come close to him through tefillah and avoda, and we've let him in as we come together with the rest of the Jewish people in Gemilus Chasadim, in our outstanding kehillah, the Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst. Sari and I, from a distance, will be away during the actual dinner, but are so close to you all as we are close to each other. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu provide for us all continued success. Our shul has shown such resilience, such adaptability in these past 2 difficult years. HaKadosh Baruch Hu shall reward us all and shall reward our shul and our kehillah continually. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless Ilana and Hillel and Gila and Alan and all of us with continued hatzlacha and continued growth on our way toward a beautiful and bright future. B'chol hamakom asher azkir es shemi, avo elecha uverachticha, we will receive the blessings of the Lord.
Thank you, Rabbi Teitelbaum. Tonight we honor, as Young Leadership Awardees, Gila and Alan Goldberg. The Goldbergs moved to this neighborhood 4.5 years ago from Kew Garden Hills, and it didn't take long for them to make an impact on our shul and community. Aside from being a presence in our shul every Shabbos, they have been involved in many programs and on various committees, specifically those geared towards our younger families and how to get these families more involved in the shul. Through these efforts, they have both become quite popular among the younger couples at Yoke, and they have continued to help out whenever they are called upon. We look forward to having them both, along with their daughter Meital, who is turning 2 in April, continue to make our shul a better place, ensuring that our young families feel right at home at Yoke. Please turn your attention to the video monitors as we honor Gila and Alan Goldberg.
A shul is not an edifice. A shul is not just a building, it's not just a place. Of course, it's a living, breathing entity. And as such, a shul has a neshama, a soul. The character of its people provided with a certain kind of a neshama. In Alan and Gila Goldberg, we have the beauty of the neshama of our shul. People of such quality, of such wonderful, wonderful goodness, of giving, a ready smile, participation in minyanim, in learning, leading events and leading young couple events so that our shul can grow. When Alan comes to a davening and sits and davens with such sincerity, it is infectious. It causes people around him to daven the way he is davening. When he has that big, broad smile, which comprises his entire face, from top to bottom, from left to right, he lights up a room and he lights up the life of the person to whom he is speaking. Gila has a goodness and a chen that is the quality of the ultimate Bas Yisrael. It's our honor to be bestowing the Young Leadership Award to these very, very, very special, special people. Alan and Gila, thank you for granting us the opportunity to show all of us, young couples, what it means to be a part of, a growing part of the Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst. Mazel Tov.
Hey Gila, can you come here for a sec? I wanted to show you. I just got this weird text from Rabbi Trump, and like he wants to meet with us, but I really don't know what it could be about.
Huh, I guess he just wants to come over and talk to us.
Like, we couldn't be in trouble or anything, could we? We didn't do anything wrong.
No, I think they probably just want us to get involved and do something for the shul.
I wonder, maybe they want me to be the assistant rabbi. I can see it now.
Maybe. They need help keeping the building up to its high standards. I can already see it.
Daddy.
It can't be.
Daddy.
No. They cannot want him to entertain at the dinner. They don't know what they're in for.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my favorites. Just one Shabbos and we'll all be free. Just one Shabbos, come and join with me. Let's sing and dance to the sky with our spirits so high.
Wait a second. I got it. They must want me to be the Baal Tefillah on the Yomim Noraim.
Welcome, world famous cantor.
gosh, Alan, it's not just Rabbi Trump. It's Rabbi Teitelbaum and Marvin also. I really don't know what we did wrong.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look, I'm not crazy. I mean, I have my contacts on 1, 2, 3, and one is very tall.
Hold on, move over. Oh my gosh, it is them. What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Hi, Rabbi Trump. Hi, Rabbi Teitelbaum.
Hi, Marvin. Hey, Tal, say hello.
Hey, Tal.
Hiya.
Who are those guys?
Guess who's come for dinner?
So, I'm a little nervous. What do we owe this pleasure to you inviting you to our home? Welcome, welcome. Can I get you guys anything?
Thank you.
So, yeah, we were a bit nervous, like, from the text messages, we couldn't know what was, we didn't know what was up,
What
why you
did
wanted to
we
see it.
do
What
wrong?
did we do wrong?
No, God forbid. You've always been a favorite of mine personally.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And that has somehow infected everybody else around us in Shul too. And we thought that we might just find the right couple.
We're thinking who matches the criterion of committed, responsible, there for others, and friends. And I think that all the boxes and more are checked on this very specific cause.
So, what does this all mean? I don't understand exactly.
Alan, this is about the dinner, the shul's annual dinner.
What do you mean what it's about the dinner? What do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to cater? Do you want me to do the air conditioning? Do you want me to do the running around and telling everybody to find their seats or something?
Alan, Hillel.
It's a little bit of a higher position.
Higher position? What do you mean by higher position?
The Shul, Rabbi Trump and I, all of us would be greatly honored if you would accept a young leadership award at this year's Yom Dinner.
Oh, so that's what you wanted all along.
We were so nervous. I was like, I have no idea what we could have done wrong in such a short time.
I wish that more people could learn about the level of committedness and sincerity that you guys bring to the community. And it's been you really have been role models for so many of us. And as Rosh Hashanah, for many, many more years to come.
Of course. Oh my gosh. I know I'm flattered.
Yeah, that's a huge honor. I can't believe it.
That's a relief. Of course we're going to be honorees for the shul dinner.
Maytal, can you believe it? What do you think we should do? No or yes?
Smart one.
No, we'll do anything for the shul.
All kidding aside, we really hope you enjoyed that little skit. We had a blast making. But on a more serious note, Alan and I feel so honored that Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst chose us to be the Young Leadership Awardees at this year's dinner. It was a bit shocking, wouldn't you say, Alan?
To say the least, it was a bit shocking, I'll tell you. You know, our road to the shul from, that first Shabbos when Rabbi Teitelbaum, I remember, was on the beam and saying oh, we welcome Gil and Alan Goldberg, and I remember thinking to myself, does he do this for everybody? I mean, I know I had acquaintances with Rabbi Teitelbaum strictly because he'd done business with my father for a long time and also worked with my aunt at Kulanu for a long time. But I never thought that he would welcome us like that with such open arms. Spending such time in the shul, we really got to know him, and back then it was when Rabbi Trump was the assistant rabbi, and I remember Gila always pushing me to, go out, and he was doing the guys' night out learning at Sushi Tokyo, and we would learn Rav Dessler, and just slowly but surely we were making more friends at the shul, and not just with young married people, but with people of all ages and demographics, what have you, and it really started to build roots in the shul, and it's something that I always wanted. When we were thinking of joining Young Israel, I didn't want to just, go to fly-by-night minions every week, every Shabbos a different minion. I wanted to join a shul with real vibrancy, and Young Israel is definitely that place, and we really love it a lot.
As Alan mentioned, we did make a lot of friends in the shul, both people we knew from before and so many newer people, our age, younger, older. Everyone has just been so welcoming over these past 4.5 years that, you know, we think of people as family, not just friends at this point.
There are so many chassanim that come out of the shul and services. The davening is great. If you're looking for a great shul with a vibrant community and awesome rabbis, Yilk is definitely the place to be, and wouldn't go anywhere else. That's for sure.
As Alan mentioned, the amount of chesed that the shul provides for its members, for the greater community, is incredible. You know, we've benefited firsthand, but every time we see an email about the shul trying to help an organization, you know, the VAD, the Eruv, just everything in this community as a whole with all the other shuls in the community, Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst does such a good job at promoting it, at getting its members involved, and in trying to just get as much chesed done by everyone that they can, which is incredible to see as a member. It's incredible to be a part of a shul that is so engrossed in chesed firsthand.
We're just proud to represent the shul wherever we go and to be positive voices for the shul, always.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank, first of all, everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules, coming out on a Motzei Shabbos. We'd like to thank both Rabbi Teitelbaum and Rabbi Trump for being role models for everything that you've done for the shul, for everything you've done for us. Personally, we'd like to thank all our friends, family, neighbors, siblings for joining us tonight. And of course, extremely importantly, we'd like to thank both of our parents for guiding us through our lives, for getting us to this point, and for being extremely incredible role models for us and for Meital and our family going forward. So thank you everyone once again for being here tonight.
What she said.
I sent in my 2 best agents, and I pulled it off.
The Goldbergs, whatever it takes.
That was great. I'd like to call up Alan and Gila to accept this gift. Presented to our Young Leadership Awardees, Gila and Alan Goldberg, Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst, 41st Annual Dinner, February 12th, 2022. Mazel tov. Probably gotta move over. Should move over this way? This way? You pick it.
Thank you so much.
I actually had words committed to memory that I worked on all this week. And then I went to the 7:30 minyan, followed by the 7:30 kiddush, and all those words were gone. So I put this together this evening with what I remembered. Where does one turn to prepare remarks to introduce his Rav? I looked, of course, to the Chumash, but to what section? Of course, the Parsha that relates to dedication, Truma. But now, where to? Bershus, Morenu, Rabbeinu, Rav Yaakov Trump, Bershus, Moreno, Rabbeinu Rav Moshe Teitelbaum, fellow chairman, our wives, honorees, and guests. Wives, did I say? I take all corrections. Feel free. I turn to a portion of my daily learning found in Rabbi Trump's WhatsApp, Aliyah Yomi. In Parshas Truma, he summarizes a teaching elucidated by Rabbi David Foreman. Among the many miracles in the Mishkan, the flame of the menorah stays lit, and the bread, the lechem aponim, stays fresh from week to week. The dimension of time is suspended. Moving into the Kodesh, Kadoshim, the Holy of Holies, the width of the room is 20 amos, and the Aron occupies 2.5 amos. The Torah goes on to say that there were 10 amos on each side of the Aron, as if to say, the ark took up no space, that the dimension of space is suspended. Who could traverse this space? Only the Kohen Gadol, only the high priest on the holiest of days, on Yom Kippur. Rabbi and Malka, we don't know how you manage to give the time to be everywhere that you are for the shul, this community, and to each and every one of us. A related teaching. In the end of Meseches Moed Katan, which those doing the Daf Yomi were just Messiahim, the Amar Rebbe Levi, Kol hayotze mi beis hakneses lebeis hamidrash, umi beis hamidrash lebeis hakneses. Anyone who merits to go directly from the synagogue to the study hall, and from the study hall to the synagogue, Zocha u'mekabel penei hashchina, will merit to greet the face of the divine presence. Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk in Tehillim, Yelchu mechayel el choyel, Yeroel el Elohim b'tzion. They go from multitude, as we say, from strength to strength, and each appears before God in Zion. As a kahila and as a community, we are privileged to have chosen you, and for you to have chosen us as partners in our spiritual growth. Hopefully, we will succeed collectively beyond time and space. It is my honor at this time to call upon our Mor Asra, Rabbi Yaakov Trump.
Baruch Shegianu Lazman Hazeh. What a special moment to share together. 160 years ago, there was an issue which was had by the Niagara Falls. Spectacular world wonder, fabulous tourist destination, a barrier between two countries. And one of the most difficult things about the Niagara Falls cataract was the inability to traverse it. Canada and America want to use its tourism, and yet there was no way to get from one side to the other. Building bridges is a tricky business. And one of the difficulties was there was no way to get across the rapids above the river in order to be able to create the bridge. There were suggestions which were made. Shoot a rocket, shoot a cannonball with attached ropes or metal strings. And rather than waging war one country on the other, a very interesting suggestion was made. A kite competition. There was a kite competition which was held in the 1840s across the river leading to the falls. And a young boy managed to fly his kite, a kite called the Union, across the river for a $10 prize in those days.
On the 31st of January, 1848, the Buffalo Daily Courier reported, "We have this day joined the United States and Canada with a cord, half an inch in diameter." They were able to tie the cord of the one side of the kite on the American side, and when the kite landed on the Canadian side, to take the rope. They then took that small rope and pulled across a larger rope, which in turn pulled a metal rope. They attached it to two towers on either side of the river, and were able to shuttle across in a metal basket the first passengers as they opened the bridge a few months later. By May, 125 people had crossed each day in this basket contraption for a $1 return fare. Not sure what the FCC would have said. On the 26th of July, 1848, the Niagara Suspension Bridge was completed based on that original rope. And finally, 7 years later, the bridge was enlarged to 2 levels. The lower deck was designed for pedestrians and horse-drawn carriages. And finally, a 23-ton engine went over the bridge successfully, all because of a kite. Folks, we're in the kite industry. When we make communities, we start with small strings, and then we take those strings and we bring across cords, and then we bring across bridges, and then we create connection. And that's what community is about. As we talked about, as Jonathan mentioned just a moment ago, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, the way it works when making a sanctuary is that you're supposed to take from everyone. Everybody is supposed to take me'es kol ish, from every individual. The way we make communities is when everybody's flying their own kite. And we're able to make the community, the enterprise, much bigger than those individuals, those small acts which start big communities. This is a community to behold, a community I am so incredibly proud. Malka and I are so incredibly proud to be part of. And just to echo a moment ago, just a real thank you to all the different shareholders, all the different people making this community so special, whether it be those who are on the outside, our teaching team, whether it be and service to the community, Rabbi and Rebbetzin Talabam, Rabbi Kramer, Leanne, and Rabbi Taylor, who are really a part of our community. And welcoming this year, Rabbi Kleinman. Rabbi Kleinman is now our Rosh Kollel, our Night Seder Kollel with our Chavrei Kollel, making a difference, making our community not just a davening community, but a learning community in the same building. And then there is the Va'atot Tzaveh, those you can't see necessarily on a daily basis, and it's because of them. It's because of the Moshes behind the scenes that the entire operation works. To Marvin, to Yehudis, to Razi, to Jill, to the ground staff, to our incredible security, all the invisible glue that holds our community together. And then to the people, to those who fly the kites, those who make our community. Those who might be small kite strings which bring across the wherewithal to be able to create those bridges. And there are so many people I cannot mention and have asked you not to mention them, and I do want to say a special thank you just this evening to the Kellners and the Schwartz and their leadership, both as the presidents and the chairmen of the board of the shul. To Yael and Lori, who are here as representing the youth department. Lori's in Israel, and Lou's representing her. To our dinner chairs, our dinner committee, all the Gabayim committee leaders, volunteers who make this shul the very special place it is. You should know, just in the last year, we have achieved so much. There's so many events, just to jog your memory. We hosted a special Begin documentary just a few short months ago in our shul. We also were able to host the Rabbi Sachs community event in our shul. Started a new night kollel. We have Chavrusa learning, a Tshuva Chabura, a Sota Chabura, a Parsha Shir on a weekly basis. We started a Women's Institute of Learning. We had a pre-Chanukah series. The Shabbos Avarchim Kiddush has continued. A Ramchal series of thought on Wednesdays. We had a December series of learning for women on the matriarchs. And there is more to come. Much more to come. One thing to be excited about soon, in 2 weeks' time, is a Kollel Boker, starting a Friday morning learning program. And under the aegis of committee members in our own community, Dr. Yeager is going to be giving the first of those shirim, starting in 2 weeks' time, February 26th. The sky is the limit. We continue together, because this young Israel is built. It has been built on the backs and with the intention and the passion and the creativity of so many of the individuals in this room. But it's just the beginning. Every single project is a new kite. Every single project, we need you to make it, to take it to its full fruition. This evening we honor very special people, and I'm not here to introduce Alan and Gila because we just heard in just a moment ago. But I do want to make a special welcome to Marcy and Mark Goldberg and to Sharon and Menachem Petrushko and the entire Mishpachas to joining us this evening, and of course to Meital, who's sleeping right now. First of all, for being not just amazing human community members, but dear friends of us, and of course everybody else in this room. Thank you for taking your time and your commitment to be here this evening. My role is to introduce Dr. Henry and Ilana Abramson, Hillel and Ilana. And Hillel and Ilana, where should we start? You are such incredible people. We could start about each of your unique journeys to find each other and find your way forward. We could talk about how you met on the ski slopes as instructors. We could talk about all the different achievements in your lives, whether it be Ilana, your incredible dedication, and your donation just so recently we're going to hear about in just a moment. We can talk about your homemaking, what your house looks like, the vibrance which shines outwards to the rest of the world. We could talk about Hillel's 7 published books, from Feldham to Harvard and University Press. We could talk about Hillel's 55,000 followers on YouTube and counting. We could talk about Hillel's being the dean of 2 higher academic institutions, or his being the featured presenter on the All-Daf OU app. Or we could talk about the 3-volume work of history which is being published by Koren, which is being actually developed in our shul through the Jewish History Lab. We could talk about his online coursework, paid and free. We could talk about those booking agents who are looking and seeking for him to write more books than he even has time to be able to create at this point in time. We could talk about the featured articles in Jewish Action, Mishpacha, and beyond, or the riverboat tours of every part of Europe and the videos made therein. We could talk about your weekly requests to be a scholar in residence around this country, or the tens of peer-reviewed articles. But there's much more to Hillel and Ilana Abramson. And I'd like to just introduce Hillel and Ilana not as shining stars in the world around us, because they deserve that. We should be so proud of our resident scholar, Hillel and Ilana Abramson, but I will tell you as individuals and community members. I'd like to open up the perspective of Hillel and Ilana walking into the shul from Florida those 6 years ago. And it was a transition to move from Florida to New York City and looking for a community, looking for a place they could call home, looking for people they could call friends, looking for a place their children could gain inspiration. Because at the core, Hillel and Ilana are parents. They are children. They are siblings. They are individuals who want to make a difference in the Jewish community, here and beyond. And I think that it's the most beautiful moment tonight, not just for Hillel and Ilana, but for their children to see how important and how significant they are to the community and how much they matter to all of us here. And I see in each of you, Rafaela and Chaim, coming from New Jersey, your involvement, and how, Rafaela, you take your care for society and political action from your mother. How much you care about the world around you. Danit, Malka, and Benjamin, coming from upstate New York, your devoutness, your passion, your learning, and what you take from your parents. Aliz and Aros, a pleasure to have you back here and to see your journeys always upwards, always investigating, your curiosity and your never-stop journey and charisma in every aspect of your lives, achievements and personal. Alexander, to have you in from Israel, and how proud your parents are of your resilience, your love of Israel, and your commitment. Boaz, your brilliance, your intellect and your integrity. And Aryeh, your affability, your sense of humor, and Bezras Hashem going to Israel to represent, being the second member of the Abramson family to represent the Maccabi Games in martial arts. I'd like to talk to tell you about the Ilana and Hillel, who are not just academic, excellent individuals, not just strivers for truth, but friends and part of our community. It is with great respect and appreciation that we have the opportunity of honoring Hillel and Ilana. Please turn your attention to the screens as we honor Hillel and Ilana Abramson.
My wife and I are really thrilled to be honored by the Yilk community for this tremendous dinner. It's really such a privilege. We have tremendous hakaras hatov to the Rav and the entire Kehillah for selecting us for this honor. Over the course of the many years that we've traveled in different places since leaving Canada, we've had the opportunity to daven in a lot of fantastic shuls that really contributed a lot to making us the people that we are today and help propel us along our journey in Yiddishkeit. And Yilk is just one of those amazing places where we really find that a lot of the things that we need spiritually and in terms of our family and our community and intellectually, this is the place where we get those things, and we're very grateful.
In the course of joining various shuls in different communities from Toronto and Israel and Binghamton and North Miami Beach and also Surfside, moving to New York was a bit of a challenge. I got a lot of condolences from people when we arrived from leaving Florida, which was kind of funny, but it's true. And one of the things that was noticeably different in the New York community is that people are really high profile and busy, and it's not always the easiest community to make your way into because people have very entrenched relationships and schools and affiliations. So I would like to especially thank Rabbi Trump for when we first arrived, facilitating our entrance into the Kehillah by setting us up with a bunch of different families for Sukkot and the high holidays. And every single one of those families made a tremendous impression on us by their effort to welcome us and to continue to be part of our immediate family through our simchas. Rabbi Teitelbaum and his wife were really, really important for us at a few key points in our school issues and a few other areas that would not have been successfully transitioned or resolved without their assistance. So we have a lot of hakaras hatov, but we also have a lot of simcha and respect for the way that the New York community here in Long Island and Yilk has really stepped up to the plate to really show us that it's really a warm community when you get to know them.
There are three main reasons why I really like Yilk. The first one is this is a great place to daven. I mean, I love the fact that there's so many minyanim, and I love it that people here are really serious about davening. I mean, we've had tremendous hatzlacha finding minyanim that are very quiet and very focused and really, put the spiritual energy into davening. So I think this is a fantastic place to daven, and I'm especially grateful for that. The second reason why I really love Yilk is because this is a tremendous place for intellectual growth. I mean, the people that I've had the opportunity to interact with in my Musar classes, in my history classes, have been really fantastic, amazing questions, challenging questions. I usually try to ask for no hard questions, please, but some of them have been really excellent. And I've learned a lot from the people that I've had the opportunity to interact with here.
When I do come to shul, the Divrei Torah are amazing, and the warmth and the welcome from everybody is always there. And I would like to encourage everybody to really make the effort, because there is a tremendous reward every single time that I do make the effort to make it to shul and to Kehillah and davening and shurim and so forth. So if you are the kind of person like me who is more introverted and sometimes likes to stay home, I get it, and I'm sure that the rabbi and everybody else here gets it, but it really is worth the effort to overcome that inertia and get to shul.
That's great. And I'm also introverted, and I like to stay home too.
Not very much.
But I think the third thing that I wanted to say, the final thing, is that we really enjoy the spiritual leadership in the shul. We learned a lot from Rabbi Teitelbaum, but especially Rabbi Trump. He is a person who is like old wine in a new bottle, and I'm always fascinated with the approach he takes to text. He has a tremendous background in positive psychology in particular, which I find really illuminates the way in which he approaches text. And I've gotten so much from listening to his shiurim in person and online, and we think he's a Rav of phenomenal potential that's just at the beginning of a trajectory of amazing growth, and we're very grateful to be associated with him.
From the time that I met this very special couple over 3 decades ago, it was clear to me immediately that they were on a journey to make a contribution to Klal Yisrael that would be at the top. And they have. and they are, and they should continue to, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's guidance and help. This is a family that the shul has really chosen wisely, and it's obvious that the young Israel is well aware of who Mishpachas Abramson is, and that's why they chose to honor them. And everybody, all of us, all the members of your shul, and I speak for myself, that we should have the same kind of nachas from our children and grandchildren that the shul is having from Mishpachas Abramson tonight at this dinner. It's well deserved. Mazel tov. They should continue Michael El Choyel, and the shul should continue Michael El Choyel from strength to everlasting strength.
Klal Yisrael is filled with so many amazing people. There are those people that are there visiting the sick. There are others that are preparing packages for the poor, and so many other chesed that's out there. And there's a small group of people, an incredible group of people, that are willing to go on an operating table to donate their kidney to save another person's life, even a stranger's life. Ilana Abramson is one of those people. I had the opportunity to be there 2.5 years ago on Erev Yom Kippur, on a day when people are busy trying to improve themselves, make a better year for themselves, do tshuva. And what is she doing? What is her private Erev Yom Kippur? Giving a kidney to somebody else who is in desperate need. This community is blessed to have a couple like the Abramsons, so selfless, so giving. I give a bracha to the entire community, that this community should be a lighthouse of chesed, exporting chesed to all over the world, and the community should continue to grow and become greater and greater every year.
According to the Ramban, therefore, every single shul, every single synagogue in the world is really a mini Har Sinai. Because in a shul there are still those three same components. There is Kedusha, the divine presence, the Shechina. Secondly, the shul is a place of learning of Torah, just like Sinai, where the Torah is revealed to the Jewish people. And third, it's a place of gathering, where we get together, where we join with each other, we have a sense of community, we do acts of chesed and kindness, and we are concerned for each other. So those are the three components of a shul. And your shul is indeed a Har Sinai. And the Har Sinai aspect of your shul is enhanced by having a wonderful family, a couple like Hillel and Ilana Abramson. My wishes that every shul should ultimately be transplanted to the land of Israel and go back to the place of the Beis Hamikdash, which is where Har Sinai truly is. But in the meantime, when we're still here and our shuls are al Tanai, are on condition, as the Gemara says in Megillah, it is wonderful to have a shul in which there is such a wonderful couple like Hillel and Ilana. It's just wonderful that you are there and honoring them, and the truth is their presence honors you and your presence honors them, and it's all an amazing Sinai experience of learning Torah, of kindness and unity, and of the divine presence. To you, Hillel, and to you, Ilana, Mazel Tov on the honor, and it is well deserved, and I feel that the shul is extremely fortunate to have you there.
In terms of our family, chesed has always been very important. We've been on the receiving end of a lot of chesed from some of our extended family and from different kehilas and different opportunities, whether it was academically for my husband through his educational process or through various other adventures that we've had. But I do want to stress that when I was a kidney donor, Erev Yom Kippur in 2019, this Kehila, and especially the Duffler family, really stepped up to the plate to do tremendous things to help us. And from the food bank that Rena Questel coordinates, and the Tomke Shabbos that is we're involved with, and the blood donations that we help with, and Automail, and the bake sales and everything else, there is a tremendous amount of effort by so many people to make this place one of chesed as well as learning. And I think that that is a fundamental and core requirement for any community and shul, and we're so blessed to be part of it here.
We're so happy for you, Ima and Abba, and we're so proud of you. Mazel Tov, this is a well-deserved honor. So many of my childhood memories revolve around going to shul. My parents spent, my entire childhood developing and really strengthening this idea that a shul is not just for davening, even though that is, you know, an incredibly important part of shul, but it's like where you develop a community, where you develop Ahavas Yisrael, where you develop Achdus. It's for learning Torah. It's for connecting to other members of the community you wouldn't necessarily hang out with or see. It's for shiurim, it's for family events, it's for panel discussions, it's for learning, and I'm just so proud of my parents for receiving this honor.
We're so proud of you. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, Shver and Nana, on this wonderful honor. We're very excited for you.
Mazel tov, Manava. It's beautiful to see that Yoke is such a nice and warm place for you to daven. We're just so happy for you, and it's a big honor to be your children at this event.
I learned a lot from my mom in these, that she cares about her guests and she cares about the people and she wants them to feel as good as they can in her presence. From my father, I learned this through every time he had a shiur or a lecture or anything like that, or even a book that he was writing, he would always keep a lot in mind of who he was speaking to, right? And that comes down to a lot of things, like even the vocabulary that he uses.
I'm also a fan of my in-laws a lot, specifically in the case of my Shverecito, my father-in-law, Dr. Abramson. He is always available to answer my questions. And I know that he's a very busy man. He works 25 hours, 8 days a week. And of course, my Mamita Linda, my amazing mother-in-law, Mrs. Abramson, ever since day one, since the first day I met her, from that first meal, she's always known how to speak to me, how to give me advice, how to listen to me, how to have compassion with me, how to be empathetic. Yilk is an amazing shul. Rabbi Trump was there for our wedding during the whole process, so it was great. Gave us amazing advice, and every time I go to Yilk, everyone is so kind to me. It's like they've known me for like 65 years, and it's I barely have met any of these people. Everyone's so good to me. So once again, congratulations, Svercito and Mamita Linda, and you guys definitely deserve it. And once again, thank you so much.
Mazel tov.
To my mother and father, I would like to wish you both a very big Mazal Tov. I know this award was very much deserved, and I would like to wish you both much success as you continue from strength to strength.
Hello everyone, I'm Boaz Uziel, the 5th child of the Abramson family.
And I'm Arya Yitzchak, the 6th child of the Abramson family. And by the time they got around to us, they figured out how to do things. It really taught us things like kibbud av v'aim and holding Jewish values as well as just family values, and accomplishing a task with that with 6 kids. Something incredible.
Me and Arye, we grew up within big Jewish communities, but to travel all the way up to Iroquois Falls and see where our father came from, where they were the only Jewish family in town, was really, it put things into perspective. And especially with our mother and our father there, all of the effort we went through just to get there and to see what it must have been like for our grandparents on a day-to-day basis, just to get kosher food, just to observe a Jewish tradition here and there, really showed the amount of personal motivation and dedication that our grandparents had, and was then passed on to our mother and our father, and it really made an impact.
We are here because of previous generations and their efforts to bring us to this stage in our life, and we always remember with gratitude and respect the sacrifices that all of our parents made, our grandparents, great-grandparents, and the Rebbeim and the Rebbitzins and everybody who was along our path of getting to this stage.
My wife and I really want to thank so many of our family and friends who have traveled to be here with us today.
And also those on Zoom too.
And those who have traveled virtually on Zoom to participate with us. I regret personally that neither Ilana's parents nor my father, Olav Shalom, could be here with us in person tonight. And my mother, who is on the other side of the Canadian border, still in lockdown in her assisted living facility, we think of her daily. And you know, we hope that we enshrined as best we can the values that they hope to convey to us. We
are so grateful to everybody who participated, and we're thrilled that you're here to enjoy the fantastic food and the ambiance and the music and everything that's so amazing about the evening. And again, thank you so much for all of the effort that was placed into organizing the event and the invitations and the scroll of honor and everything else that goes into the dinner.
Did you see the scroll of honor?
No, not yet.
I didn't see the scroll of honor.
Anyways, thank you again.
Like
we really appreciate it. And Anna and Mike, thank you really, especially for showing up in person. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, that's really the best thing is to have our family together with us in our community and celebrate together.
We're part of a long chain and tradition, and we hope that our children and grandchildren continue that in that path, and Yot Hashem, going forward, that everything should go well for Klal Yisrael as well. Thank you.
We hope we have the opportunity to celebrate for many, many years in the future.
I'd like to call up Ilana and Hillel to accept this gift. Presented to our guests of honor, Hillel and Ilana Abramson, Young Israel Lawrence-Cedarhurst 41st Annual Dinner, Saturday evening, February 12th, 2022. Mazel tov. Megillah. And that is all we have planned for the evening. I want to thank everyone again for coming. Dessert will be in the ballroom. I invite everyone there, and the raffle will be done by Marvin during dessert in the ballroom. Thanks again for coming. Have a good night.